Reported today in The Verge. Kine turns the drama of aspiring musicians into a puzzle game. It can be difficult to find time to finish a video game, especially if you only have a few hours a week to play. In our bi-weekly column Short Play, we suggest video games that can be started and finished in a weekend. A certain amount of frustration in a video game, especially a puzzle game, can be a good thing. Depending on how it's utilized, it can help to create much more exhilarating moments of success when things finally click together and you understand the solution to the puzzle in front of you. Kine, in its best moments, has that sort of good frustration, but those moments also feel impeded by the game's camera. Yet, it's still great despite that. In the simplest terms, Kine is a puzzle game in which you try to move a block through a maze to a specific point. The block moves one space at a time by rotating. Say the block is a cube and the side facing up is red while the rest of it is white. In order for the block to move to the right, it tilts to the right until it lands in the space, putting the red face on the right side of the cube rather than the top. If it moves one more space to the right, that red face would now be on the bottom. What complicates your movement through the maze, though, is that you are attempting to navigate through it with things that take up more than one space. On top of that, they can change their shape. If you're finding that hard to follow, check out the trailer below. The first one of these things you control is an accordion because Kine actually tells the story of a trio of musicians getting together to form a band. Each one is represented by a different instrument that you used to navigate the game's mazes. Initially, the accordion can either be a single space block or expand an additional 2 spaces. When expanded, it still rotates around the original block. So if you try to rotate it in such a way that it hits something, it'll prevent you from making that move. However, if you get the accordion facing up and then expand it, this lifts the original block off the ground, letting you traverse gaps as that block is able to fall past them. While perhaps complicated to picture from words alone, this is all nicely explained in the opening levels of the game. It feels less like running through a tutorial and more like just playing the game and learning what you need as the solution to the puzzle. This design is also carried out through the rest of the game when you're introduced to the other 2 instruments that are controlled differently than the accordion. It's especially helpful when you enter levels with more than one instrument at the same time in them. The levels with more than one instrument are when Kine is at its best. You have to find ways for the instruments to help move or act as platforms for the others. In order for more on this story, visit the news article link.